Chapter 13. The beast rises from the sea. This is the beginning of the United Nations. The state of Israel is formed from it. The beasts. And I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, stood upon the beach, and I recognized a beast-like creature representing the United States of America, having 7 heads for England, Russia, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and the United States, and 10 horns for their 10 leaders, signifying the ruling and leadership of each country, being the symbol of Leviathan, which is mentioned in the Bible 5 times, Job 41:1, Psalm 74:14, Psalm 104:26, Isaiah 27:1, and Psalm 74:14. Leviathan is called piercing and crooked, because he gets into the hearts and subconscious of people and deceives them. Leviathan literally means spiritually bound. By definition, Leviathan is a monster, jointed monster, symbolized by any of the reptile family. Leviathan is referred to as the serpent, the dragon, and a beast. This beast was ascending up out of the sea, representing the multitude of people living within the shores of the United States of America, and on its horns, 10 crowns. Daniel 2:23-33 describes how this beast will be made of various components: the head made of gold, the arms and breast made of silver, the belly and thighs made of brass, and lastly the feet made of a mixture of iron and clay. Notice how the metal that each part is made of decreases in value from gold to clay. As the 4 living creatures represent the 4 empires of the evil one that have existed on earth, each part of the beast described also represents an empire. Head of gold, Daniel 2:32, Babylon. Gold is symbolic of a ruling monarchy and royalty, for Babylon was a great empire ruled by dynasties headed most prominently by Nimrod, son of Cush, and Semiramis, Hammurabi, and Nebuchadnezzar, son of Nabopolassar, and Babylon is the head of the beast because it carries the intellect of those empires to come. Breast and arms of silver, Daniel 2:32, Greece, belly and thighs of brass, Daniel 232, Rome, and feet of iron and clay, Daniel 2:32, Europe and America. Iron represents Europe because it was a strong empire, socially, economically, and politically. By these means, it spread, walked, its culture throughout the earth. Clay represents America and how its society is weak and degenerative. Though as mighty as the beast may seem, it will be humbled by a mere stone, as David, son of Jesse and Helmah, slew the 7-foot-tall giant Anakite Goliath, son of Goliath and Phurkon, who possessed 6 toes on each foot, and a double row of sharp teeth, with a mere slingshot. The fact that the stone used to cut down the beast is described as a stone cut without hands, Daniel 2:34, connotates an uncut and unpolished stone or pebble. A polished stone is one that has first been found in the mine like a raw diamond, then taken to a jeweler who finds its illustriousness and buffs it to splendor. Or as in the case with gold, which is found deep in the earth, it is melted down and shaped into form. The uncut refers to that which has its own rough edges chipped off, and the result is a substance such as marble. The Holy Tabernacle Ministries of the world today represents that little stone. We are unpolished and uncut because we are in the belly of the beast doing the work of El Elo, the Most High. The fact that we have been able to accomplish so much with all the facts, and little jewels that are crammed within the scrolls, in such a short time is a miracle in itself. The miracle of a little stone being the imminent destruction of a seemingly indestructible beast. But it is the very beast called America, the true Ansars, aiders of Allah, who are the Holy Tabernacle Ministries are a product of. Here we are as raw uncut gems, but we have the luster of a pearl, lying in the filth of the oyster. That's right, the filth of the world made us just as the dirt of the sea, which gets inside the oyster and causes it to form a pearl. The world kept kneading us with the elements of hatred and racism. Every time Nubians would try to accomplish something, the Canaanite would crush it. He crushed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Pedro Albizu Campos, Messenger Noble Drew Ali, Messenger Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Sheikh Daoud Ahmed Faisal, Malcolm X, and Clarence 13X. But he will not crush us. We have already struck a blow at some of the beast's false doctrines, such as Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. People are now waking up and realizing all over the world that they have been lied to about who the Messiah Jesus was. The final empire in these last days will have a swift decline. Before it is finally over, all false doctrines will fall, taking the beast and its empire with it, from which it will never rise again. And on the beast, America's head, was the name blasphemy such as God, Jah, Jehovah, Christ, Allah, etc., names that were given to Eli, Anu, the Most High by the Christians. Pentecostals, Seventh-day Adventists, Sunni Muslims, Christian Scientists, and Jews. The Creator takes on different names in different countries. In France it would be Dieu, Scotland or Ireland it would be Gia, in Sweden it would be God, in Spain it would be Dios, in Nigeria it would be Shango, In India it would be Brahma, Pramatma, or in ancient Egypt it would be Amun-Ra. In Babylon it would be Baal, in China it would be Buddha, in Persia it would be Mazda, in Greece it would be Theos, in Saudi Arabia it would be Allah, in Jerusalem it would be Yahweh, in ancient Sumer it would be Anu, and in satanic religion it would be Satan. And the beast, who is America, who I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, saw resembled a leopard, having many diverse nationalities of people who have flocked to and settled within its shores, as a result of its reputation of being the land of plenty, calling itself the melting pot, and his feet resembled the feet of a bear being very powerful and large. The first bear is symbolic of Theodor Herzl, founder of the political Zionism and Zionist movement, who took the task of leading back the Jewish masses of the world to Palestine. The second bear was Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States. Next, the third bear was represented by four-star Army General H. Norman Schwarzkopf. He was commander of all the American and Allied forces in Saudi Arabia. He is referred to as the bear or Stormin Norman. And the mouth of the beast was the mouth of a lion, being very arrogant and loud and boastful, and the evil reptilian gave him power, inspiring his agents to do his bidding, because that is their purpose on earth ever since the beginning of creation, and the United States has great authority, ruling over many nations. And I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, saw one of his, the United States, heads, who was Ronald Wilson Reagan, the 40th President of the United States and former Governor of California, who gave the Church of Satan their charter in 1966 AD, thereby recognizing it as a legal church of worship. He was shot on March 30, 1981 AD, by John W. Hinckley as if he were dead. It looked as though he was fatally wounded at first, yet, Ronald Wilson Reagan sustained the gunshot wound to the chest and the wound healed after only 2 hours of surgery. He returned to office 12 days immediately after the incident, so the whole planet Earth wondered about this beast. People were amazed at Ronald Reagan, his rise to presidency, and how he escaped death. This one incident made Reagan one of the most impressive of all the United States presidents, and everyone in the whole world worshipped the reptilian, representative here of the United States. There isn't a nation on earth who doesn't bow to this country, America. The United States has made the world dependent upon it in some shape or form, either financially, economically, or militarily, which gave power to the human beast. The United States is so powerful because it has literally received its power from the evil reptilian. Since the term of Woodrow Wilson, succeeding presidents have been under the influence and guidance of the Illuminati for the State of Israel. Several presidencies were instrumented to their cause. For instance, President Franklin D. Roosevelt was manipulated by the Jebusites from the time he went to Albany as governor to the state of New York, to being a president of the United States. He was responsible for entering the United States into World War II. President Harry S. Truman helped the Jebusites when he recognized Israel as a sovereign state. As a result, there was an armed uprising in Palestine. It was President Truman who helped Israel become a member of the United Nations. President Dwight D. Eisenhower is another president who was a pawn in the hands of the Jebusites. The Jebusites was responsible for Eisenhower being elected as President of the United States. As a result, President Eisenhower remained faithful to these Jebusites and tried to oblige them whenever he could. In 1956 AD, Jebusite illegal occupation of Palestine still existed. This cost another $500 million of United States taxpayers' money. President Nixon was in favor of the illegal and immoral theft of Palestine by the Jebusites. In 1981 AD, President Reagan made a covenant of support for the State of Israel where the United States would protect Israel for a period of 7 years. Although power is passed on to Israel, there is still no other country which can compare with the United States in wealth or power. After former President George Bush was sworn into office, the Jebusite has been losing his power. Their time is up, and the South got in power and the Republicans in office. You saw a rise in the war in Israel. Former President Bush told the Jebusites to withdraw their troops from Israel, and the Jebusites told them, no. Things were at a standoff for the Jebusites, but just because the focus is off of them for a while, doesn't mean he is resting in his devilishment. And they worship the human beast, saying, who is like this human beast? No nation can be compared to the United States. Its culture and influence dominates the whole world. Who is able to fight with him? What nation is able to wage war against America and its Jebusite allies and win? Then he, the Jebusite, was given a mouth, a place in the United Nations on May 11, 1949 AD, when they became a member of the United Nations and authority was given to them. Even though they had not complied with the United Nations resolution, they were still granted the favor of becoming a member, to do things for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. And he, the Jebusite, opened his mouth once it obtained a place in the United Nations. He used his position to assert his own philosophies in order to reach his goal, that of securing his so-called homeland. blaspheming against Yahweh of the Elohim, using the United Nations as an open forum to speak out, as if he were supreme, and he blasphemed his name and his tabernacle and the dwellers of the Orion skies. And he, the Jebusite, was given the right to take over Palestine from the natives and kill. They were given the permission to take Palestine from the original inhabitants, and settle within the area, pushing them out and then make war with the natives, who tried to retaliate against the actions of the Jebusites. They had the right to kill the holy ones, the 144,000, and to conquer them. Once he realizes the power of our teachings, he will try to stop the propagation of right knowledge, right wisdom, leading to right understanding and sound right reasoning, and a pure heart, Nuwapu. Authority was given over all the tribes and nation of people and tongues in every Gentile nation. The United States gave the Jebusite the power in the United Nations to do whatever they wanted the inhabitants of other countries like Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, and Ethiopia. And all who dwell on the planet Earth worship to him, the United States and its pale Jebusite image of Jesus. In worshipping this image of the fake Messiah Jesus, you are actually worshipping the Jebusite, the Christians and Jebusite whose names are not written in the scroll of life of the Lamb, and the original seed who was slaughtered since the formation of the world, since Kadmon, Adam, and Nekabaz, Hawa, Eve, sons when Cain slew his brother Abel. Whoever is meant to be imprisoned because they did not die right away, will be imprisoned without a fair trial. Those who are not killed right away, are carted away like animals to unsanitary prisons, and whoever is to be killed by a sword, then he should be killed by the sword. So now, right here are the holy ones, their patience and faith, because when things get bad they are the only ones who stay. Only those with perseverance and endurance will be able to survive the hardships and tribulations and remain amongst the faithful up until the time of ease. And I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, saw another beast, unlike the first beast, coming up out of the planet Earth. The fact that it came out of the earth has the meaning that this beast took its leadership. It was not given power by the people. He had two horns representing the many antichrists or many dajjals who have been in power throughout time around the world from both religious and political arenas. They rise up in power and fool people by their meekness and supposedly good intentions. They appear as lambs, innocent and genuine for the masses of people, but in actuality they are frauds. Two such dajjals are John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, and Pope Paul VI. They were both in power during the birth of the Antichrist. These two horns represent the division of church and state. John F. Kennedy was a Catholic, the first Catholic to become President of the United States. His demeanor was extremely pleasant and likable, which captivated both Caucasians and Nubians. Yet it was JFK who was responsible for starting the Vietnam War, and granting funds to NASA for extensive outer space travel and exploration. Pope Paul VI was the first pope ever to come to the United States. On October 4, 1965 AD, the Pope visited for 13 hours under the pretense that it was a personal appeal to the United Nations for peace. Pope Paul VI, as other succeeding popes, made extensive use of his power to control not only the religious faction of the state, but also the decisions which are made by the political heads of the various countries around the world. These two horns also represent the two seats of power, from America to the Jebusite and now the Jebusite to America. The world will be deceived into thinking they are humble or gentle like a lamb, yet he, the Jebusite, speaks out just like the beast America. And he, the Jebusite, exercised all the authority of the first beast, America, because America backs them between his hands under the power of the United States, and made all those who dwell on the planet Earth worship to the first beast, who was healed of its deadly hit during the Great Depression of 1929 to 1937 AD. And he, the Jebusite, made great signs to the world so that he was able to send down fire from the skies upon the planet Earth to the Middle East in front of the nation of people. They claimed that this war was a religious war and that they want to regain the Holy Land of Canaan. That was one of the greatest lies ever told. The war that took place in Palestine was not about religion, it was about politics and economics, power, and money. And he led into ignorance those that dwell on the planet Earth by tricking and deceiving the whole world into thinking they are the Most High's chosen people, the descendants of the Israelites by way of Abraham. This is what Revelation chapter 3 was referring to when it said people will think the Israelites still exist. They are not the true Israelites. The true Israelites were a pure Nubian seed who failed to be faithful and forfeited their covenant with Yahweh, by adulterating the laws that he places in their hands. For 430 years the children of Israel toiled at the mercy of the ancient Egyptians, who were also of the pure Nubian seed at the time, until Moses came to deliver them to the promised land, Exodus 12:40. Still they complained and set up false deities, before Yahweh caused their destruction, 2 Kings 17:18. Of the Israelites, a remnant was from the tribe of Judah and Dan, now Donegal or Dunakil in the Sudan, the Falashas of Ethiopia. The fake Jews of today are from the cursed pale seed of Canaan and Shingera and their son Jebus. Jesus called them the synagogues of Satan, Revelation 3:9. He told them that they were not of Abraham even though they called him father. Jesus said their real father was the devil, John 8:39-44. He said they were Gentiles, the real heathens, and he told his disciples not to go to their lands and preach the gospel. They don't want to accept or recognize the Messiah Jesus as having been their Savior because they know he didn't come to save them. He came only to claim his own, the lost sheep of the house of Israel only. John 15:24, the Messiah Jesus that they are waiting for is the Antichrist. And by way of his signs, Israel tells everyone that they are the real lost tribe of Judah and that their power in war, yet being outnumbered, means that Yahweh is on their side. This is not true. The United States is helping them succeed, which he does right in front of the beast in the open forum of the United Nations, and his diabolical actions are televised on the media, saying to all who dwell on the planet Earth, that they should make a picture of the beast, an image of the pale Jesus which dates all the way back to the 3rd century, 200 AD, who they tell you he was hit with a sword, pierced by nails to a cross but lived, because he really did not die on the cross. Another deception. They want you to believe that Jesus died on a cross for your sins then resurrected. Again, this is a trick. They make you believe that this is true, then you will have compassion for what this image represents. Their idea of how the Messiah was nailed to a cross is scientifically ridiculous. Theologians insist that Jesus was affixed to the cross at the wrists by driving a nail through it. It was hammered through the hands and feet of accused victims sentenced to death. According to these so-called scholars, the nail had to pass through the wrist's bones, and then what support do you think they would have had? It's all a big hoax. The truth of the matter is that Messiah Yeshua never was on the cross in the first place. And he, the Jebusite, had power to give spirit to the image of the beast, making it come to life so that the image of the beast should both speak, representing all the preaching these so-called Christian evangelists and Pentecostalists do, in the name of spreading the good word, and cause destruction. To as many as would not worship the image of the beast, the image of their fake Jesus should be killed. They pretend to be evangelists and Pentecostal preachers in order to teach and spread the image of the beast all over the world. In the past, their religious authorities were the Pharisees, the ones who arranged the plot to kill the Messiah Jesus. And the beast caused all nations of people, both big and small, to recognize the Jebusite, both leader and follower, rich and poor. He controls every aspect of your society. He controls everything that is seen on television, in the movies, and what you read in the newspapers. They dominate all of your civil rights and social reform organizations such as the NAACP, CORE, Manpower, etc. Those that are free and those that are slaves will have to get a stamp, the mark of the beast, which is money that carries a hypnotic spell called the spell of Leviathan, Kingu, in their right hand or in the space between their eyes, forehead. So that no one would be able to buy or sell anything without credit cards. The world of the Antichrist and his associates will be in a cashless society, where every financial transaction will be computerized and executed at business centers and supermarkets, without the use of cash, except for those that had the stamp or the name of the living beast or the computer number 666 of his name. Everyone's number will be linked into one computer called the beast. This computer will have control over all the trade in the world and control the lives of the average citizen. It is linked through an intricate network of computers all throughout the world. This massive, gigantic, self-programming computer with more than 100 sensing input sources is based in 3 places: Belgium, Holland, and Virginia, USA. This is true wisdom. So let him that has a good mind count the number of the living beast, for it is the number of a human being, who was born June 6, 1966 AD, of the many antichrists, and his, the beast, Leviathan, number is 666, the number of imperfection. The number of the beast is the number of a male living being. The ancient Greek word for man is Latinos. When the letters are added according to the Greek language, the sum of the number is the number of the beast, 666. L30, A equals 1, T 300, E5, I equals 10, N equals 50, O equals 70, S equals 200, together equaling 666. Let me reiterate the significance of the birth of a man born on June 6, 1966 or June 6, 1966 AD. In the studying of the meaning of the number 666, it would be best to first have an understanding of its origins and why the number 6 is used at all. It was used a lot in music for the F clef, or as it is now called the bass clef, which looks like an upside down number 6. First of all, the number 6 has always been associated with the serpent. The letter S was actually derived from the form of a snake in a striking position. Even the phonetic sound of the letter S represents the hiss of the snake, serpent, Nakash. Note that in most languages the name for the number 6 starts with S, Latin sex, Spanish seis, Norwegian sex, Portuguese schist, German seeks, Hebrew Chaldean sauce, English six, and Arabic sita. The reason why I am bringing out the meaning of certain letters is because in ancient times they used letters to hide or mask the number 666 in some Greek dialects. The S was replaced by F, and in Old English the small f was used for S. The F line in music uses the Old English F. If you take the crossbar off of the F, it will also resemble a snake in a striking position. The letter V was also used interchangeably with S and F. The V happens to be the sixth letter in the Hebrew alphabet. In the English, F replaces V in this position. This is one of the reasons why the English language F and V are interchangeable, i.e. knife and knives. All languages have their own numerical system where each letter has its own numerical value. In Arabic it is Vav, in Greek it is Zeta. Originally the sixth letter of the Greek alphabet was Sigma, however, today it is the 18th letter, which is still an equivalent of 6, 3 by 6 equals 18. The letter Z or Zeta is the sixth letter of the Greek alphabet, and it is no coincidence that Zeta is a symbol of a snake, something which is related to the devil consistently. Originally the Hebrews did not use numbers. They used letters to replace them. The first letters of the Hebrew alphabet were used as numbers. So in this case, the sixth letter of the Aramaic Hebrew alphabet would be Zion, and you would get Z or Zion Zion Zion, which is now the seventh letter, but originally it was the sixth letter, which is now the letter Vav. So you would have WWW or Vav Vav Vav, and the Aramaic Hebrew abjad of Vav is equivalent to the number 7, which is the ancient Ashuric number 6, which was taken from the Hindus, from which the Arabs got their numbers. Again, you see the link to the Hindus. So you see whether it is the sixth letter Vav, which is equivalent to the Ashuric Syriac, Arabic, number 7, or the seventh letter Zion, which is also equivalent to the Ashuric Syriac, Arabic, number 7. The Arabic number 7 is nothing more than the Hebrew number 6. They simply switched them around to deceive you. If you look at the chart, the numerical value for Zeta is 7. Yet, the number 7 as you know it today in the English numerical system is really the Hindu 6. So whether you use 6 in the Hindu form or 6 in the original, it is still the same. The evil reptilian's number can be broken down as such, 666. Now to you the last set of 6s may look like 7s, but that's so you can get thrown off. But if you take 7 times 3 you will get 21. 21 is the age when a man is considered fully grown, and is recognized as a man. That is why Revelation 13:18 says that the number of the beast is a number of a man. The Roman number 6, which is written as VI, is nothing more than the Arabic number 6 in ancient Ashuric, and today is the Arabic number 7. If you add the Arabic number 1, which in Roman numerals is I, you will get VI, which is equivalent to 6 in Roman numerals. That's why they use Roman numbers in the English translation of their Quran. The greatest advantage the evil reptilian has over you is that you think he is some spirit force or some kind of spook, and not that he is a physical being living amongst you, a physical seed. Like it said in the garden, there will be enmity between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. Remember, the disagreeable and agreeable sons of the Creator came down to earth and mixed with the daughters of men, and had children. In Job 1:6-7 the Most High asked where he had been, and he said, going from to and fro in the earth, and walking up and down in it. The number of the beast is imperfection. It is governed by the negative forces. The number 666 is incorporated into everything he does, from his coding or ISBN number, to logos on products, to subliminal to overt messages where it can plainly be seen. You are so caught under the spell, although many are waking up, that you can't see the web you are trapped in. It is so important that you awake from this spell of sleep, called Kingu or Leviathan, before the end.